Hello, welcome to Finding Footloose Yoga. My name is Laura and I'm delighted to be your teacher today. We're going to be doing a flow for your hips and hamstrings, and we'll begin lying on our backs in a reclined butterfly. So make your way gently down onto your back. Bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees fall out wide to mat edges. You can wiggle your heels away from your groin to soften or add more gentleness to the shape, and bring them closer in to your groin to add a bit more intensity. So just find the place that will work for you to begin, and we'll stay here for a few minutes just connecting with our breath and allowing ourselves to get heavy on our mat and really arrive at our practice and in this moment. Hands can rest on your belly or at the bottom of your ribs if that feels safe. It may help to bring attention to your breathing. Breathing in and out through your nose. See if you can lengthen and deepen the breath with every inhale, just by bringing some intention and attention to how your breath is traveling and the pace that it's moving. Don't worry about forcing anything. If you'd like to set an intention for your practice, now is a good time to do that. Identify a word, a feeling, a mantra that you can identify silently or out loud right now and return to as often as you can throughout your practice. I'll remind you a couple of times. One option that I find is nice for hip-focused sequences is just the simple idea of presence. Well, sounds simple, not always easy to do, simple to say. And that is essentially just the ongoing reminder to bring your attention back to your body, to your mat, and to the very moment that you are in, rather than letting your mind wander too much or allowing stories or ways that we might be talking to ourselves to kind of get too loud or active throughout our practice, and really just every time you wander, just sort of bring yourself back to the here and now. So feel free to work with that if it works for you today. And using your hands, seal your legs up back to center, and we'll gently bring those knees into the chest, just pressing the lower back into the mat. You can circle your hips around in circles, hands resting on knees. Go in one direction and change to the other direction. Just feeling that lower back really melting into the earth. Plant the left leg down on the floor with that knee still bent. And then your right knee hugs into the chest again tightly and off towards the armpit a bit more this time. And we'll press the sole of the foot up to the ceiling for half happy baby. So you have a 90-degree angle in that leg, reaching for the pinky toe edge of your foot if you can get there. Calf or ankle is an option too. And really just draw that knee and the top half of that leg in underneath your armpit, heading in that direction. Breathe into this really deep opening through the hips. Left leg is in line with your hip, so it's not splaying out to the side. It hasn't totally left the pose altogether. And straighten that right leg up. So the sole of the foot is pressing up towards the ceiling, bringing your leg as straight or as close to straight as you can, lifted. Hands can come around to the hamstring, back of the thigh to help keep the leg propped up, and just breathe here. Nice. Draw both knees in gently again. Give yourself a little rock from side to side. We'll allow the right foot to lower to the mat. Left knee hugging in towards that left armpit. And when you've squeezed it in or tucked it in, as far as it will go today, find that 90-degree bend, reaching for the pinky toe. Sole of the foot is flexed, pointing up towards the sky. Knee hugging into that armpit. Half happy baby. Second side. Straighten your leg out, pressing that foot up closer to the ceiling. And breathe here in this full leg extension. Bring your attention back to your breath again. Notice it traveling in all the way down to your belly, and maybe even envision it or imagine it traveling along the back of that extended leg. And bring both knees in again. One last little rock. Rolling over onto your right side to find a fetal position. Here, using your arm as a pillow. We'll stay here for a few breaths. Before pressing ourselves up to a seat, just letting ourselves settle in this comfy, safe shape. And press yourself up to a seat. And just find a seated position to begin, and just bring yourself back to your breath before we get moving up here on our mat. You can let your eyes lower, closed, or just down to the floor. And just see if you can bring your breath all the way down into your belly, feeling your belly button rise with every inhale, and release back down closer to your spine with every exhale, like you have a balloon in your belly that's filling up with every breath. Just keep going. A few more breaths here. And then Open your eyes if you've let them close and make your way to a table position. So all fours, wrists stacked under shoulders, knees under hips. Give your belly button a slight tuck, pull rather, in towards your spine to find a neutral spine. So you're not arching and letting your belly drop towards the mat, and you're not rounding your spine too much either. From this nice, stable, engaged position, we'll find some gentle hip circles. So lift your right knee up off the mat to a hover and begin to move it in a circular spiral motion or shape, almost as if the end of your knee is a pencil or a paintbrush, and you're sort of sweeping it around in circles, making a mark on your mat. Change direction, keeping the rest of your body as close to that table position as you can, not shifting way off to the side. Just a couple more seconds here, a couple more rounds, and lower that knee. From table, we'll find bird dog. So step your right foot back, nice long leg, left arm reaches up away from your body. From this extended position, foot and hand can hover away from the mat, lift all the way up to parallel with it, if that works for you. Stay here and breathe for 3, 2, 1. Lower back to table, and let's find those hip circles. Second side, you can come up onto fists if your wrists are getting tired. So this time your left knee hovers above the mat and you begin to find that circular motion like you're drawing or painting a spiral with your kneecap. Change direction, rotating the opposite way. A few more seconds here, a couple more rounds. Nice, lower back to table. This time, left foot steps out behind you, nice long leg, right arm reaches up in front of you. So opposite arm and leg are extending away from center of your body. They can be just a couple inches off the mat or lifted all the way to parallel with your mat, and we'll stay here breathing. And lower, hand and knee back to the mat. This time, walk your hands out in front of you, so towards the top end of your mat, lowering your head down, so hips stay lifted for puppy stretch. Maybe your forehead is touching, maybe your chin. It's like a half down dog where you're really extending your spine nice and long, but your knees are down on the mat. Arms are lifted, hands are pressing into the earth. Couple more breaths here. Walk yourself back to table by pulling those arms back in, hands right underneath shoulders. Tuck your toes, hover both knees off the mat this time, bear pose. Stay here for 3, 2, 1. Hips press up, find down dog. Your first down dog of the practice. Lengthen your stance a bit if you need to. You may want to start to pedal those feet out one at a time. Let your head hang heavy. Give it a shake, yes and no. Really inviting your neck to loosen, soften. Lift your heels up, bend your knees, and baby walk, baby step, walking your feet up to your hands, and then rolling up to standing, one vertebrae at a time. We will meet in mountain pose, standing up nice and tall at the top of your mat. When you get there, root big toe, pinky toe, and heel of both feet down. Give your shoulders a little roll. A few times might feel good before sliding those shoulder blades back and down, palms face forward. Simmer here for a few breaths, letting that first bit of movement wash over you. Heart rate might be starting to increase. Now is a beautiful moment to reconnect to your intention if you set one. And we'll move through our first sun salutation together. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, bow at the waist, melt towards the earth. Inhale, lift halfway up, lengthen that spine, hands to shins. Stay here for an extra breath. Before melting down to the earth, plant your hands, step back 1 foot at a time. Lower your knees for this one. Shift your weight forward. Lower belly, chest, and chin down to the mat. Untuck those toes and press the tops, the shoelaces of your feet into the mat. Feel your kneecaps hover. Inhale, forehead and collarbone lift up, baby cobra. Stay here for a breath. Exhale, lower. Let's do that again. Inhale, elbows are squeezing into your sides, baby cobra. Option to hover your hands. Exhale, melt down. Pressing into the earth with your hands. Press back up to that modified plank position on your knees, and then tuck your toes and send your hips up, down dog. Inhale, lift your heels, bend your knees, and walk or hop your way up to your hands, lifting halfway up, lengthen that spine. Big breath in, exhale, belly to thighs. Let yourself hang heavy here. Release your arms. Let them dangle down to the floor. Maybe they touch, maybe they don't. But gravity is doing the work, really helping you fold in half. And then big breath in, sweep up, hinging at those hips. Come up nice and tall, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to prayer. Couple breaths here in mountain. We'll do that again. Inhale, arms sweep, salute the sun. Exhale, bow forward, belly to thighs. Inhale, half lift, lengthen. Exhale, fold, plant those hands, step back. When you make it to plank, you decide, knees up or down. Shift your weight forward a bit, lower belly and chest all the way to the earth one more time. Press your toenails into the mat. Lift up, baby cobra, or press the earth away to bring those arms closer to straight, full cobra. Breathe here. Elbows are squeezing into ribs. Lower on an exhale. And then tuck your toes. Press the earth away. Make your way back to down dog, moving through table or plank. Nice work. Inhale, lift your heels, bend your knees, look forward, step up to meet those hands. Lengthen your spine, half lift. Exhale, fold, hang heavy. Option to grab opposite elbows this time. Give yourself a little wiggle, shake. Before inhale, sweeping up, reaching for the sun. Exhale, hands to prayer. Few grounding breaths here. Sun salutation one more time, all together. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, half lift, belly in. Exhale, melt forward, planting those hands, step back. Shift forward, option to lower halfway this time, chaturanga. Hugging those elbows in, sweep your chest forward, up dog. Squeeze your thighs together, press the earth away with those hands. Stay lifted for one breath, really nice, and then roll over those toes, down dog. Inhale your right foot up to the sky. Exhale, right knee to tricep. Press it up again, foot to sky. Exhale, knee to right tricep. One more time. Lift. Exhale, knee to tricep. And then sweep that knee underneath you. Step your right foot to right thumb. You can lower your back knee gently onto the mat. We'll make our way to a low lunge. So inching your foot forward just a little bit or to the side of your mat to find a nice steady stance. Chest lifts up. Front knee over front ankle. Inhale, arms sweep overhead. They can clasp. And if that's too much on your shoulders, just keep your hands low to hips. Breathe here. Lower down, hands frame that front foot. Left hand stays planted, chest rolls open to the right, right arm reaches up. Easy twist. Option to keep your left leg down and low where it is, or tuck those toes and lift your knee up off the earth. Pressing that leg towards straight if you choose to do that. Reaching that right arm up towards the sky as best you can, just feeling that twist through the waist, through the hips. One more breath. Lower that raised hand, both hands inside your front foot this time. Lower the back knee down to the earth and heel toe your right foot over to mat edge, pivoting on your heel so your toes are all the way off your mat. You can let your knee roll open, coming onto the pinky toe edge of that right foot for dragon pose. Hands are pressing into the earth, and just see if you can give your chin and your collarbone a little lift, almost like the cobra. Option to come down onto forearms, particularly if you know dragon and you know that this feels good for you. You can choose to do it now, or if it's not what your body wants today, stay lifted up on those hands or on fists. Works too. Just breathe into that right open hip. Come back up onto your hands if you were down. Bring your knee back in towards your shoulder. Heel toe that foot in so that it comes in between your hands this time. And from this framed position, we'll shift our weight back. So we're moving back towards half splits. Your weight is going towards your back heel this time. Hands walk towards your hips. Come up onto that front heel. That right leg presses towards straight. Shift your right hip towards the back of the room a little bit. Left hip forwards a little bit. See if you notice the adjustment, how that feels. Might take some pressure off in some places and really just focus the stretch on that extended right leg. One more breath here. Use your hands to walk yourself forward back to that low lunge position so your weight is shifting forward again into that front foot. Option from here to drag your front foot back underneath you to table, and then you can choose to press back to child's pose or hover those knees and press up, down dog. If you'd like to add a flow, shift forward, lower halfway or all the way. Choose your back bend, up dog or cobra, pressing the earth away, whatever you choose, and meet back in down dog. Notice now in this moment, how does your right side feel? How does that right leg feel compared to the left? Inhale your left leg up. Exhale, knee to tricep. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, knee to tricep. Shifting your weight forward one more time. Leg presses back. Knee comes into tricep. use your core to tuck it underneath you and step that left foot to left thumb. Low lunge first, so lower your back knee, adjust your front foot as you need, find some steadiness, lifting up. Lunge in to that side, left knee over ankle. Choose where you'd like your arms this time. Inhale them up, down to your waist, maybe even a middle option. You can find cactus arms or a T shape. Just a couple more breaths. Activate that right glute. That lower leg is turned on. Your glute is pulling your weight out of your knee, lifting, lifting, lifting. Yes, you got it. One more big breath. And bring your hands forward. Keep your right hand firmly planted into the earth. Roll that chest open to the left. Easy twist, second side. Option, tuck your toes. Lift that back knee. Let your top hand lower down. This time, both hands are coming inside your left foot, so inside the big toe edge. You can lower that back knee so that you can heel toe your left foot all the way off to the side of your mat, rolling up onto the pinky toe edge of your foot for that dragon hip. Press the earth away with your hands, letting your collarbone shine forward, your chin lifted ever so slightly. And then option again to come down onto forearms if you'd like to try that instead. From here, give your chin a little tuck, actually, so that the back of your neck is a little bit softer. You don't need to be looking up towards your fingers. You can be looking more so down towards your elbows. Bring yourself back up onto your hands if you're lifted. Roll that knee in and begin to heel toe your foot back to center so your hands can frame it. And we'll shift our weight back for half split. So hands walk back towards hips. Front leg presses towards straight, so we're lifted up onto that heel. And do that little hip adjustment. So this time left hip shifts back a bit, right hip shifts forward a bit. It's subtle. You might not even be able to see it, but you can feel it. Reconnect with your breath. Walk your hands forward, shifting your weight into that low lunge position last time, and then drag that foot underneath you, table. And again, option child's pose, down dog. Now is a good moment to take a drink if you need that. We'll meet in down dog. So if you chose child's pose, just make your way there now. Give the feet a little pedal before we get moving again. Couple big breaths. Take a big one in. Sigh it out. One more breath in. Sigh it out. Nice. Lift your heels. Bend your knees. Look forward. Step forward. Lift halfway up. Lengthen that spine. Fold. Hang heavy. Inhale. Arms sweep up. Reach for the sun. And bring your hands to prayer. Find mountain. So really root those feet down. Hip width apart. Shoulders slide down your back. Bring hands to your hips for this one. We'll find some of those hip circles again, but this time from a standing position. So shift your weight into your left foot. Right foot hovers off the earth, maybe coming to 90-degree shape with that leg. And just begin to, again, find a circular motion where your knee is moving in a spiral-like shape. This one is a bit of a balance challenge as well, of course. We're not anchored on all fours, so keep that left foot really planting into the earth. Switch direction with the knee. Keep your left hip hugging into center of your body. That will help you stay steady here. Just a couple more circles. Nice. Bring that right knee up as if it's coming into your chest. Wrap onto your front shin so you can give it a little squeeze. It's okay if you fall out or if you're wobbly or whatever. We'll roll through those ankles for a moment. And then inhale your knee out to the side. So your leg is still in the 90-degree shape, but this time your knee is off to the right side of the room. Hold here for a couple breaths. And then lower the sole of your foot down to your standing calf for tree pose. So press right sole into left calf, really nice and firmly. Magnetize them together. Inhale, option, lift your arms up. And let your gaze focus on an unmoving point in the room. Hands back to hips if they were lifted. Pull that knee into center and lower down to the floor. Just for a moment, you're going to step that right foot back behind you, almost like you're going into a high lunge position, and begin to hinge forward at the hips so that right foot lifts up and you're finding your expression of warrior 3 today. So right foot is pressing to the back of the room, leg is pressing towards straight. You're hinging towards parallel with the mat, and then arms can reach behind you. Stay at hips if you prefer that for balance. You can come out to a T. If you fall out, just come back in. Option to lower your hands towards the earth for half standing splits. Keeping that right leg lifted. Bring your nose towards your knee. And then lower that right foot to the mat. Bring yourself gently back up to standing. Walk those feet out. Let the sensation that's built up in your left leg and your left foot just pass. Find mountain. Breathe through it. One more breath. Nice. Bring your weight into your right foot. Left foot lifts off the floor. So those hip circles on the left side first, finding that paintbrush-like motion with your knee, painting circular shapes on the mat below. Finding as much steadiness through that left leg as you can. It's really holding you. Switch directions with that spiral. Bring your knee up towards your chest so you can grab your shin, or even the back of your thigh is a good option. See if you can find steadiness. Breathe your way there. Let your gaze focus. And when you're ready, bring your left knee out to the side of the room. So you're rotating, externally rotating through that left hip. You're not wrenching or twisting through the lower back. This is a hip motion. And then lower, this is the balance challenge, lower the sole of your foot to your calf for tree second side. So left sole magnetized to that standing tree trunk that is your right leg. Feeling your foot rooting into the earth, holding you steady. Choose your arm placement. Hands to hips and lower that left foot onto the mat. Walk it out for a moment if you need before stepping your left foot behind you as if heading to high lunge. And we'll hinge forward at the hips and lift that foot up off the mat. Maybe a couple inches, maybe parallel. Warrior 3 second side. If you fall out, just come back in, play with it. Don't worry about it. See how your body feels today. Check in with yourself. Say, hello, balance on my right leg. How are you now? Maybe not so great. It's all good. There's actually no right and wrong. Option to fold at the hips. Bring those hands down to the earth. Half split, knee and nose coming closer together. And then lower both of those feet down to the earth. Roll yourself up. We'll meet in mountain again one last time. Let that simmer. Give yourself a little shake. Literally shake those arms and legs. And then find stillness. Mountain pose, 3 breaths. Inhale, arms sweep overhead. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lift halfway up. Long spine, plant your hands, step back. You choose chaturanga, back bend of your choice. Make your way to down dog. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, bring your right foot in between your hands. Back foot drops for warrior 2. So parallel with the short edge of your mat, keeping front knee over ankle. Windmill your arms up so that shoulders, my goodness. Shoulders, hips are stacked. Find a T shape with your arms. Gaze over those front fingers. Inhale, reach that front arm forward, reaching away from center as far as you can, and then lower your front forearm down to that thigh for side angle pose. So your legs have not changed, but you're now lowered down gently onto that right thigh. Left arm sweeps overhead, bicep over top of your ear, reaching for the front of the room. Keep your core engaged and mindful not to sink into that lower shoulder too much. So you don't want to collapse all your weight down into the shoulder and onto that thigh. See if you can hover your forearm off your leg just enough to really check in with that. Rotating at the waist, frame your front foot with your hands, pivoting on that back foot so you're in a lunge position. And then from here, we'll move to pigeon. This is a core challenge as well, so feel free to get there in another way if you need. And just hover, drag that foot off to the side so that you can lower your left knee down to left thumb. Left shin is on the mat, and then make your way into pigeon pose by wiggling your left foot back and really finding that position that works for you. Option to stay up, right? Using your hands as tents or tripods to kind of keep yourself lifted, or you can fold forward at the waist and gently bring yourself onto forearms. Option to lower the head or not. Bring yourself just to this moment, breathing into your body, noticing how the breath feels, where it's traveling. Bring yourself up onto your hands if you're lowered, and we'll press ourselves out of this shape, making our way to down dog. So press the earth away with your hands, lift the shin off of the mat, drag it underneath you, and make your way back to down dog. Option to take three-legged dog here for a moment by lifting your right leg up and rolling your hips open, bringing that right heel to your bum. Gaze looks off almost towards your right armpit. Back to down dog. Lift your left leg up. Step through in between your hands, warrior two, second side. So drop that back foot. Front heel lines up with your back arch. And when you're ready, windmill your arms up. Gaze over those front fingers. Reach forward with that left hand as far as you can, and then lower forearm down to thigh. Right arm sweeps up overhead, bringing bicep to ear. Side angle pose, second side. Legs are still exactly where they were. Front knee is over front ankle. Back leg is straight. And again, check in with that shoulder. Are you collapsing, sinking in, or can you find some lift out of that shoulder by engaging your core and really keeping both of those legs strong and on? You've got it. Just a couple breaths. Lower your hands to the mat, framing that front foot. Pivot on your back foot so you're up on the ball of your foot. And then we'll make our way to pigeon by dragging the left foot over to the side of the mat. Left knee comes down to left thumb, and then wiggle yourself down as deeply or as fully stretched in a pigeon with that right leg out long behind you. This side may feel very different than the last. And so you can choose whether you prefer to stay here lifted or folded, bringing yourself closer to the mat. Anywhere that will allow you to breathe and soften as much as possible. Not gripping anywhere that you don't need to be, letting your face soften, your jaw, your eyebrows. Breathing into that hip. Come up onto your hands, so lifting your chest back up tall if you were lowered. Tuck those back toes and pressing the earth away with your hands. Lift your shin up off the mat. Engage that core. You've got it. And step your foot back, down dog. Really nice. Option to find three-legged dog on this side as well. Lifting that left foot, bringing it towards your bum, and rolling your hips and slightly your chest open to the left. Make your way back to down dog. And lower yourself down onto your knees. We'll make our way to sit on our bum. So rolling off to one side. Scooch up closer to the top of your mat so you have space to roll all the way down onto your back from here. And with your legs bent, keeping your hands reaching out in front of you or just gently resting on those back thighs. We'll roll ourselves ever so slowly. Count to 10 if you can. Try it. See if you can get there. Rolling down nice and slow. And when you've made your way down onto your back, we'll find some windshield wipers with our legs. So feet start by being planted in the earth. Knees are hip width apart or wider. And just let them fall off to one side of the mat and then the other. Nice and gentle. And next time they make their way over to the right, let them fall and stay there for a twist. You can scoot your bum over if you need to. An option once you're here to keep your legs splayed apart nice and wide, or bring that right foot and lift it up onto left thigh. So almost like hooking it up onto your left thigh. Arms come to a cactus shape or a U shape out beside you. And just let your eyes soften, stare off into the distance, or even let them close. If hooking your foot on top of your thigh is too much, of course, release that at any time. Start to feel yourself melting into the earth, getting heavier with every breath, letting the work of the practice completely melt away. And gently bring your knees back up to center. You can bring them into your chest and give yourself a little rock and roll in this position as well, just to kind of wash away that twist and get yourself ready for the second side. Begin with your feet planted on the earth. And you can take a couple windshield wipers or just let your knees fall right off to the left right away, scooching your bum so you're over on that hip ever so slightly. And then option again to find that hook. So this time your left foot and ankle would be resting on top of your right thigh, if that works for you. Arms still in cactus, just to have a nice opening through the chest that matches the opening through the hips, or any other place that feels like you're right here and now. Bring your knees back up to center. Take in any final movements that you'd like here. Full happy baby might feel nice after all that hip opening that we did. It might be accessible to you, so grabbing the pinky toe edge of both feet at the same time and bringing both knees into your armpits. Same shape we found at the start of class, but just both sides instead of only one. Any other final movements or wiggles or poses, and then make your way into a final resting position, Shavasana or something else that feels better today. Fetal position is always a nice choice too. And we'll stay for a couple minutes of stillness and restorative rest before we wrap up our practice. You can begin to wake yourself up or stay longer if you'd like. The beauty of practicing in your own home as well, as you can really make your own choice for how you'd like to end class and how long you'd like to stay resting. But if and when you're ready, roll over to your side. Find fetal for a couple breaths and then press yourself up to a seat. And bring your hands to your heart. And just bring your attention to your intention one final time. We'll take 2 deep breaths together, giving some life and some oxygen to those intentions of ours. Really lighting them up with our breath. And let's bow forward together as a gesture of gratitude for the teachings of yoga that allow us to be here practicing together today. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time.